Hey everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the new Marvel Superhero Masters Juggernaut figure from Hasbro. Now the figure comes packaged in the same style of packaging we've seen with all the Superhero Masters. You've got the window box packaging, the figure's clearly displayed. Up in the corner it tells us it comes with parts for a Marvel's Colossus figure, and then off to the side we've got that conglomerate image of multiple different parts of different figures put together. This one's actually a little bit different than what we'd seen in previous releases. This has got newer figures in the line, so a new Iron Man body, Captain America head, Logan's arm, Hulk's leg, another Spider-Man's leg, and then off to the side Whiplash's hand. On the back of the packaging we have a look at the Juggernaut figure with mix and match parts from other figures in the assortment. So we've got Juggernaut, Marvel Now Hulk, Scar, Whiplash, and Spider-Man. And then off on the bottom corner it shows us the action feature, which is a fist firing action feature. They've been starting to incorporate action features into this line beyond just the mix and match of masher parts. Okay, so let's get this figure open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. Now, like with all the masher figures, this figure is designed in a more cartoony kind of look. You know, these figures are definitely designed more for kids than adult collectors. But I do like the overall look of this figure. I like the head sculpt on this one. I like the kind of gritting of his teeth. He looks like he's about to punch something, you know, which is kind of a Juggernaut type of expression. So I do like the head sculpt on this one, and I think they captured the overall look with the costume and everything pretty good with the figure. And he's definitely bigger and bulkier than a regular sized masher figure. You know, here he is next to Captain America, and you can see he is definitely bigger than Cap. He's about the same bulk and height as the masher Hulk figure. So scale wise, even though this line isn't really known for scale, I do think, you know, this figure works pretty good with the other figures in the line. Now the figure comes with these weird, I guess they're supposed to be pile drivers. That's what they strike me as. I'm not 100% that's what they're supposed to be, but you know, and they've got little pegs so you can plug them in throughout the figure. So, you know, again, they're kind of corny. I don't really know what the purpose of them are. Actually, I got them on backwards, but you can, you know, put it in his hand so he can hold it like a gun, or like I said, you can put it on the side of his arm, so he can't really, if it's a pile driver, he can't really use it very effectively like that. But you know, again, you can pretty much put it anywhere there's a hole in the figure, and there's holes, you know, located throughout the body of the figure, like with all the mashers. Figure also comes with Colossus's head. So, and I think the sculpting on the Colossus head is pretty good as well. And you can switch it out if you want. Make your own Colossus Juggernaut. Even though, since the whole body isn't metal, it looks a little funny, but there you go. And you can always give him, he comes with the lower hand for Colossus as well, so you can give him that as well. Actually, I think if you had some more Colossus body parts and you mix and match, I think this would look pretty cool. And the head's just a hollowed out piece, so it's not a removable helmet or anything like that. And then finally, he has an action feature, as I mentioned before. You can see the hand on the left arm. It protrudes out the bottom of his arm, and then basically the idea is you can push on it and it will, you know, launch the fist. So he's basically got a firing fist feature, which is kind of silly in my opinion, but I guess, you know, again, since this is made for kids, you know, to me the masher gimmick is enough, but you know, we've been starting to see more and more of these action features incorporated into the figures. Okay, so I'm sure you're familiar with the whole masher gimmick by now, but just in case you're not, we'll go over it real quick. So the idea is you can break the parts down to the figure, down to the main body, you know, take the head, the legs, and the lower parts of the arm apart, and then you can mix and match it with other figures in the line. So we can give him Hulk's head, Captain America's lower arm. We'll give him that Colossus lower arm as well that comes with the figure. And he can keep his lower legs. And we'll give him a Hulk leg. And a Groot leg. So basically you can mix and match parts however you want, and it's also compatible. There's a Transformers master line currently, so you can mix and match parts with it, and pretty soon we're going to get Star Wars and Jurassic Park master lines as well. So again, you'll be able to mix and match any of the parts from any of those lines with the Marvel figures as well. Okay, and then for articulation, it's pretty much the same with all these figures. All these joints are basically attached with these ball hinged joints with the little pegs, and so you can turn his head left and right. You know, this one doesn't really have any up or down movement because of the way the head is sculpted, even though the joint itself does have a hinge. Because of the way the head is sculpted, it really doesn't have any up or down movement. Now if you put another head on this one, then it would have more up or down movement. Arms are attached. Does not appear to be a hinge on the arms for this one, so you can't get his arms out. So that's a little disappointing. But he does have good rotation at the arm. There's no midsection articulation on these. Again, the hinge at the elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. And then there's also, you've got the swivel at the elbow. There's no wrist articulation on this one. Well, on the left hand there is, because you can swivel the wrist because of the action feature, and the actual hand is kind of hollowed out on the left hand because of that action feature. But the right hand does not have any articulation at the wrist. Then again, the legs are attached with those ball joints, so you can get him to do the splits pretty good, and he can get the leg forward good, and he can even do the leg backwards pretty good. Then you've got the swivel there at that ball joint as well at the upper leg, and then again, ball joints at the knee, so he can bend his knee about that much. He's got the swivel at the knee. No ankle articulation on these. And then this one does have 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. So that's my review. Overall, if you like the master figures, then I think this is one that you'll definitely want to pick up. I like the head sculpt with this one. I like the bulk of it. The Juggernaut's a cool character. So, again, if you like the master line, realizing that this is more of a kid's line than an adult collector line, but if you like the design of them and everything, and you've been collecting these figures, then I think this is one that you'll definitely want to add to your collection. This figure is hitting shelves now, so look for it for anywhere that sells the master figures, which is pretty much everywhere. This is one of the more deluxe size figures, so it's going to cost around $15. And that's my review. As always, we ask, leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. There is a gallery of images of this figure over at marvelousnews.com, so if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description below. And until next time, I'll catch you all later.